Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday and welcome to Extremes in Temperature. Jill will be having 95-degree weather, and we have a good chance of snow Sunday or Monday for, yeah. Oh
If you're
my
seeing
God.
this on video or seeing it live, then you're seeing Jill in summer clothes and Deb wearing winter clothes, and Jill wishing she was wearing winter clothes. But yeah, no, we're going to
No,
need air conditioning this afternoon.
exactly. And my hair has gotten so long that I
Right.
have a headband on it. And I'm about ready to do something, but not sure when or what.
There
So
you
that's
go.
why I am just, yep, it's amazing. You know, uh, interesting full week. I just spent over 2 hours with my friend at a restaurant catching up on a whole bunch of things in our lives and a lot of reflection with this full moon. How about you?
Absolutely. And little monsters.
Oh, hello,
Um,
Zero.
yeah, there's Zorro. He's awake, so now he's in my arms. It's been one of those weeks. It was the week after Halloween. So my tradition is at the office that Monday we turn into Christmas. So I showed up with my reindeer and my Santa Clauses, and I can't find my Hanukkah decor, so I gotta find that in the office. And we put on Christmas movies and Christmas music. So when my business partner comes in that Tuesday, it's already transformed because
Wow.
I don't understand decorating with turkeys when you're celebrating that we're going to eat them.
I love that thought. That's a very
Doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I've got turkey candle holders that, to be honest, I got for super cheap, and then the candles all melt into them, so they spend half the year in the freezer trying to get the wax out. And I just pulled them out again, and I thought, I just don't understand this because
well,
why do we
people eat
celebrate
rabbit
the
at
things we're going to
Easter.
kill?
Well, people eat rabbit at Easter,
Ooh.
and yeah, they do.
No, we
There's nothing
eat
like
chocolate rabbit ears.
that's not what I'm talking about. And
I know.
Hassenpfeffer, people swear by it.
Oof. It just doesn't.
And
My family doesn't like turkey anyway. So, yeah. So I'd rather go right to Christmas. So we Christmased up. And then we had election day the next day. And that was like all the stress and then all the,
right. Everybody could breathe.
Right.
Not everybody,
not everybody, but a lot of us. And
Mm-hmm.
then even more of us than before. And then it's Wednesday and it's Project Food, where we feed
oh my
in
God,
our community. And normally, traditionally, first week of the month, it's pretty light because people have the ability to use their EBT and feed themselves. And we were standing room only for the entire hour with dozens and dozens of meals going out in to-go containers. And so that sort of reinforced that we aren't anywhere near where we need to be in terms of remembering to be kind and giving and generous from the top down.
Right.
And then we had that horrific plane crash. It was like, whoa, how did that happen? And the numbers kept going up. And then I read an article a letter by a woman who was married to a UPS pilot. I posted it on our page. And she didn't know for hours that wasn't her husband. Because apparently UPS didn't have a protocol to call family to say your one was not the one in the plane. So, and he'd taken off only minutes before that plane. And we live underneath an airport pattern. So we have a military airport on one side of our mountain, and then we have Ontario International on the other. So we've got planes overhead, and when they go over our mountain, I know they're up higher than they look, but they're still low enough to leave shadows cast across the hill we live on.
Right. Right.
And it's just been that kind of week.
It's
wild and horrible and good and not, and all of that. And I'm thinking, and now it's the holidays. Literally, we're in November. That some of you are going to eat those birds that you're making decorations for, which makes no sense. And then Christmas and Hanukkah and all of that.
And let alone the myth that I grew up with. And then when I found out the truth, hi, Janine. Oh, she asked, is March Air Force Base still alive?
March is alive. It's being used for private as well as military. Norton is being used for private and military. We have two of the longest runways in the entire United States out here.
Wow.
Within, miles of my house as the crow flies. So we have C-130s and fighter jets. And then we have airlines. On 9/11, it was so eerie to not have planes. And then the only planes were the bombers that were doing grid patterns overhead because we've got so many military here.
And speaking of airlines, they're now like just saying, don't fly. I mean, they're cutting back until, so with these losses and gains, it's just real interesting. I mean, my friend and I, she had a punctured lung from a car wreck that she had 6 months ago. So she is in the midst of healing. And we also talked about losses and gains, basically. And, that's why I put forth the question on Facebook today. What have you gained from your loss? And I put question marks, nothing, something, too soon. Because when you first have a loss of anything, all you do is feel the loss. And truly, it can be decades before you feel anything that could be you feel like you gained anything. It was probably with the last, and I've talked about my stuff once before, when I had a change in family dynamics, and I felt that loss for about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt like light about 3 years later, 3.5 years later, when I could say, for 10 years, I had it really the way I wanted it. And I was grateful for the 10 years. And then I was willing to move forward and accept. And in that acceptance, sometimes when I see different family, I need to medicate.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need to not show up, and I give myself permission for that.
Sometimes you just gotta breathe with great intention.
Yes, breathe, be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I had to tell myself I'm entitled to my thoughts. I get my thoughts. I can tell anybody else, not the people involved. And, I've had to adjust my behavior, expectations of myself. But that was just a family dynamic loss.
Mm-hmm. It's systems theory. For therapists, it's you take a system, you move one out, everybody else shifts. Some get farther apart, some get closer, some fight. It's systems theory.
And my girlfriend and I were talking this morning about the gains with losses and how it takes time to integrate that loss. You don't say, and you and I have said this tons before, right? There's all sorts of feelings with that loss, and you don't automatically say, well, I went through that loss and you'll get through it just fine. It's like, F you.
Right.
Do not talk to me about that now. Bad timing on your part. And you may be one of the losses. In fact, a friend of mine, a psychiatrist friend, has on his answering machine, hello, this is so-and-so. And you have reached the phone of so-and-so. I have been making several changes. If I do not get back to you within 24 hours, you are one of the changes.
Oh, I love that. A little bit abrupt, but I love that.
Yeah, you are one of the changes, and I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. He is also a stand-up comic.
Oh, and, I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So,
I've had some interesting conversations with people under the age of 18, considerably under, don't know each other, don't interact, don't see each other coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
And loss has certainly been in the conversation. It might have been that it was because of Dios de los Muertos out here, because everybody, knows that's happening. But they were asking, how do you help someone when they've had a loss? What do you say?
Little kids were asking you?
Between the ages of consider middle elementary through first year of high school kind of ages.
Yeah. So 10 to 14. 10
what
to 15.
Do I say?
Yeah.
Younger than 10.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
What do I say? So we talked about companioning and imagining you're on a park bench with someone and just sitting with them instead of talking to them, and not saying I understand because you don't, because my loss is different from your loss. And everybody had a different, like everybody related to now it's up to 12 people who died in that plane crash. And there were only 3 on the plane. So, everybody there had different experiences, different notification experiences, all that stuff, all the things that happen with sudden loss.
Right. And but some things are common and themes. And I just want to say, last weekend, I finished all 7 seasons and the extras, meaning the anniversary special 10 years later of the Gilmore Girls. That means over 150 episodes.
Holy cow, my goodness.
My husband, it was like a really good book I couldn't put down.
Right.
And the dramas, I just want you to know, during that time, I watched very little late night TV. I would rather watch Gilmore Girls than news.
We've not watched actual news except for Tuesday in months.
Exactly. And that is how I spent my time. And now I'm at the Gilmore Girls as real people, not characters. But during that time, I was really invested in the characters and in that. And I started to look at how they dealt with different kinds of losses, how they dealt with losses of expectation. I mean, that was the whole thing about the Gilmore Girls. There's Emily, the matriarch, Lorelai, the daughter, and then there's the granddaughter. And what did they do when they knew they couldn't meet the expectation of the previous generation, whether
right,
it be the
because
mom
it is
or the
generational.
grandmother?
Yes.
And I found that fascinating. And loss of relationships. I mean, back then, it was early 2000, 2010. They were on for 7 years, so it must have been like 2010 was whatever, or whenever it was. You know, they were not gay friendly drama. They weren't really African American friendly.
Right.
There was the token Black person.
Not a diverse cast.
Not a diverse cast, either physically, I mean, like physical traits, emotional traits, any of that. However, very different types of relationships.
Right.
And they did deal with sex quite a bit, which was pretty out there at that time.
Right.
And really different neurodiverse people. That's they did have that. And then when they had the 25th, not the 25th, the like 10 years later thing, which was really longer, but they set it at 10 years later. It was sort of hard for me to adjust. It was a loss because I saw them looking physically one way, and now they look a lot older. And you know, Scott Patterson had on a toupee, and you know, by that time Ed Herman had died, the grandfather, and by that time the African American guy had come out, and there were new issues involved and family patterns. How did they deal with loss? And when did especially the Gilmore Girls have a way of showing gratitude for, while it was a loss in one way and they made certain decisions and they can't go back in time and reclaim them, here were the gains. So it was a lot of losses and gains of letting go of expectations, letting go of things like that. And I'm just curious from our listening audience, you know, what have you ever had a loss where you, thanks, Janine. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. We say bye to our listening audience when they tell us they're going. We just do.
We're personal.
Yeah. And I found it fascinating how they had to make certain losses okay in their mind, how each character did
to accommodate them and acclimate to them.
Yes, and integrate them.
Like we do.
Like we do. Like people do. And so I'm just curious, you know, what are some of the gains you got from losses, Jill? If you don't mind.
My goodness. No, not at all. I mean, macro gains. I changed careers.
Macro gains are like a big gain.
A system outside of the personal. I changed career twice. Went back to hospice, which I love. Opened the private practice. Big gains, big changes. Which also was lost because gave up some retirement time. Changed houses. Lost lots of friends because sometimes frequently when you remarry after loss, folks don't particularly appreciate the changes that you have made, and they vote by walking or staying on the periphery. But some of the gains also were new people came in. People I had been friends with decades ago swooped back in, right? And reconnected and in a more mature way. It solidified the girlfriend connections. It allowed me to have more time with my mom. It gave my kids space to learn how to do grief, and let us all figure out how we were going to do their adult years actively, because when there is a big loss, you do have to talk about it. And you do have to renegotiate those things. And those were gains, because that meant we could have better relationships in their adult years. Right?
And yet in some families, you don't talk about it. It's like watching Encanto. We don't talk about Bruno. No. Right? They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to heal the way maybe you need to heal.
In our family, we talk about it. You are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about all the things related to it, because honestly, it's just this big old elephant in the living room, to borrow from substance abuse, right? Which is the phrase for that. I may have stuffed elephants in my office. Might. You got it. And it gives the kids and the people around you the chance to talk about it and explain it and come to terms with it better, and to renegotiate the loss over the years. One of my kids acknowledged the birthday of a birth brother today on social media. Nobody knows where he is. He's made some really sad choices in his life. And so she's still wanting to maintain that tie, but there's loss because the tie can't be what it's supposed to be.
What we'd all like it to be.
Right.
It's just not, it's not happening. Is it not going to happen forever? I haven't lived forever, so I can't tell you that.
Don't know. My mom's death has meant that my sisters and I are closer. One of my sisters was in the hospital. In fact, she's being discharged right about now. And we make sure, my younger sister and I are on the phone pretty much every day. We're the drive time conversation. And then the older one, we call and then we report back and forth. That wasn't happening before, because you have to shift. It was the mom who got the call. Now it's the siblings. So that relationship has solidified a lot. And there was every reason to think a while back that might not ever be the case. What about you?
I'm thinking more in terms of my younger, after divorce self, having crushes on different people. And, I remember I had a crush on a person in one of my classes. That was the instructor and his girlfriend a year later, and I felt the loss. I got over it. Believe me, I moved on. However, a year later, his girlfriend said, "Can I talk with you?" Because we were part of the same class and still sort of friends. And she unloaded what this person was like in the relationship. And I was not a good listener, because I was too busy saying, "Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God." That's one kind of loss. When I married Daryl, and so my socioeconomic status changed, right? Because I had a 2-person income. That's number one. Number two, I had, we moved out of town Now, Champaign-Urbana is like Bloomington Normal or Minneapolis St. Paul. It's a sister to each other, you know. And if you drove from Urbana to West Champaign, it was like 20 minutes, right? If you drove from Urbana to our house, like 20 minutes. But because we had a different name, we in St. Joe, people didn't come out here. They didn't want to come out here.
Isn't that funny how that works?
It was hard for me to get used to that. And then because we didn't share the same troubles monetarily, that also put a distance between us. And because I was happy and not feeling so alone, lonely, and didn't have support, didn't matter that that person had a husband and support and stuff, and I didn't all those years. I just adjusted.
The system dynamic.
It changed the dynamic. And then eventually church changed the dynamic, made it very clear, and I was sort of booted out. And I thought, I am never ever gonna have what I had for all those years.
Right.
And what came out of that after time, number one, I was able to try a couple more religions. Number one. Number two, I got different friends through the ages that are part of my senior self rather than my middle-aged self. I also, even though I didn't become the minister I thought I was going to be, I'm doing a lot of the same things.
You're doing ministry.
I'm doing ministry. And there's lots of different ways to do ministry. Maybe I did it at camp, dressed as a clown, and supporting people and teaching and using practical spirituality. That means not spiritual bypassing at all, like one of our guests talked about, but moving. And, you know, and with other changes in dynamics, Daryl and I got closer. What we didn't have in the beginning of our marriage, we are having now more toward our aging selves.
Right. As you're getting close and seeing that there's more time where we've been than more time where we're going, which is a loss. And an adjustment and a need to go, so now how am I going to use this time? I had that discussion with one of our church members the other night. Like, I'm 86. I have a limited amount of time left on this earth. I am not going to spend it saving used paint. It's going out to the trash, and we're going to just clean the stuff up because we don't need stuff. Stuff is unimportant when you're 86.
I know. Another friend and I said to him, you know, I had a crush on him. He was a newcomer at the church back in the 80s. And then I saw him through relationships and another wife and blah, 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 blah. And yesterday I said to him, I said, I have been with you longer than anyone else as a friend over the years, than any of the women you dated and stuff. I would even say, get rid of this one. Right. He goes, my therapist told me that. I said, well, listen to at least one of us.
Right.
And so anyway, I laughed and I said, well, you've never taken me on vacation. And he goes, don't push it. And so.
Right.
But to treasure these kinds of long-term friendships. I mean, I knew him before I knew Daryl for at least 2 years. So we're talking, what, 35 years?
I get to have lunch with my girlfriend's group. We're having Friendsgiving on Sunday next door. at my mom's old house that's now owned by one of my girlfriends.
Yes.
And I've known some of them since I was 5. We're all 61, except for a couple of youngsters who are 59. Right?
You're still wet behind the ears.
We are. Yeah. But we have a lot of time between us. We have seen each other through Bluebirds and Campfire Girls and high school and college and marriages and couple divorces and widowhoods and cardiac surgeries and children and like all the things.
All the things.
Right? We have that time between us.
I know. And
it's a blessing, and it's also an ability to look back and see how much we have all collectively lost and how much we've all collectively changed in positive ways because of those losses.
Exactly. And that's, I just want to say to our listening audience that when you are able to have we're going to call it a glimmer of gratefulness, a glimmer, you can look and say, wow, I am healing.
And that's okay.
And
it's okay to heal.
It's okay to heal. Just like I went to a new restaurant. I put the quote up today. They have it all in like prints of Banksy art. And so on my page to advertise us speaking today, it says, it's okay to rest. That doesn't mean you're quitting or something like that, and right. I just want to encourage people. It's okay to go, I can have pain and heal too.
I can have pain and smile. I can have pain and cry.
That's right.
I can do all those things.
Yeah.
I can have pain and hold the dog.
Okay, sure.
Who causes pain when he's mad?
We love our pet children.
We do.
We do.
So we have some guests coming. We have Kristen coming in December. We have the other person you've been in contact with coming in January.
There's somebody in January, January 10th. And then I have not heard back from this other person, and I'm going to yesterday, I went to see where one of the cemeteries has a green burial plot stuff. So I'm going to get somebody to be talking about green burial here in Champaign County, Vermilion County, around here, because it's different depending on the climate.
Right.
So anyway, we're going to be having some different guests. So that'll be fun. People will put out books, people that are from all different backgrounds.
We look forward to it. And we made a decision for Christmas week, didn't we?
Yes. So Christmas, as you all know, will be on a Thursday, right? And so the day after Christmas, Black Friday, we will be in our pajamas.
We will, our Christmas jammies.
Yes. Oh, here's Rita.
Rita, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Rita.
Rita has been amazing, and she's been so open about all the different parts of her loss and all the celebrations of her just amazing husband and her kids, the way they've handled it.
I just love that. Thank you, Rita.
A musical, talented family too. So we're going to have everybody come on. We can have up to 80 people on StreamYard.
Yeah.
And so we're going to jamify.
We're gonna do it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna
put everybody in. If you pop in on our commentary, we're gonna pop you into the conversation, and we're gonna talk about Christmas and loss and fun and probably food, and we're gonna have a fun day after Christmas. Don't go out and go shopping. Stay home and join us.
And whatever you put in your coffee, we don't care.
Right.
Yes. There you go. We should have that woman on our podcast, the We Don't Care. I forget her first name, but we should have her. And
I'm still trying to get Misha. He is not responding. If anyone knows Misha, please put us in touch.
Mm-hmm.
We think she's such a positive person. We think he belongs here. You know,
he is.
We're not modest.
And he alludes to different losses. So that's why.
He does.
Yeah. All right, kids.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat place. Fridays, 10 o'clock on the Pacific side, 1 o'clock 12 o'clock where Deb is, 1 o'clock if you're on the far East Coast, and way earlier if you're in Hawaii, because I can't do the math because everyone's changed time zones. And for the Australians, hi Saturday. It's nice to see you.
And and the Italians.
And the Italians, that's right. Yeah. And Jakob von Vielink, we hope we can't wait to see you in Wisconsin next June, and congrats on doing he's been doing a trek to a lot of the religious sites around Europe, and he's met the Pope. So he's had an amazing month, and I'm hoping we can get him to come in and talk about that, how that's helped him with his mom's loss. So
that sounds great.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Talk to you soon.